because some of the buildings now that is close to the road is nothing to write home about. Some of the building is even falling down. This leads to several places. So we are calling on the state government, every relevant agency, local government, NDDC, they should come and help us. Bolu people are crying. Whenever it rains, the east-west road will be totally blocked.
Well, on his part, the Community Development Chairman, Uchendu Wele, said efforts to channel the flood water to flow through the drainages have not yielded results. He urged the government to build a canal in Mbolu.
The flood is disturbing us for some years now. We are begging River State government to come and help us. We are still begging federal government to put eye into Mbolu Road. Let them see how they can help us. The community have put effort. We have tried our best so that we can see how the flood can move. But no way. That is beyond our power. We are begging government to have where they can pass through and do canal for us so that the water will move. When the flood full, no more business, no more movement. Go to Junction now, go see how some buildings there. Some buildings don't they collapse.
Our correspondent who visited the area reports that some of the houses are flooded each time it rains. Motorists also experience difficulties on the road due to the level of flood on rainy days. Well, some residents spoke on this.
If rain fall, nobody dey pass. Keke no dey pass. We dey for suffer. We need government to help us.
It affects the whole of the shop. Nobody comes to buy something from you for like 3 hours. Nothing can be able to pass. Government should help the people of Mbolu, especially those doing their businesses, by putting drainage.
Motor self no dey pass. Even with the lights, no people pass. People shop, na so in the enter. What is the cause? The gutter no dey wide enough for the flood to be passing.
As you can see, Mbolu Road, you can lead from here to the South Road to Airport Road, Rumokuru. So it's helping the masses, not just only Mbolu people. So I'm begging the federal government and the state government, the local government also, to assist us to come to our aid.
Coordinator of the Engene Flood Disaster Response Organization in Ahoda West local government area, Enyeta Abieba, says there's a slight increase in the water level of the Orashi River. Mr. Abieba told our correspondents that the slight rise may be due to recent rainfall in the area. Well, the community leader, however, added that there is still no flooding in any of the communities in Ahoda West.
For Orashi, for now, there's no threat of flood. But there is report now that yesterday and today say there a bit rise along Orashi River. But it has not threatened any settlement. And the rise is very, very minimal. And people who are attributing to the heavy downpour that occurred for the past 2 days, there was heavy downpour. You know, NEMA is saying that Cameroon has opened its Lagdo Dam. Flood have not entered any home.
A community leader in a Che local government area of River State, Loveday Okere, is calling on the state government to revisit all agricultural projects in the state, including the abandoned demonstration farms and seed multiplication areas in the different local government areas. Well, Mr. Loveday said this on Nigeria Info FM's Morning Crossfire today, and he said the agenda of the School to Farm project and the revamping of Songhai Farm would promote food production and economic development.
There is no continuity in River State, government after government, in terms of continuing a well-thought-out plan on how to engage people through agriculture. Even if there is no commissioner, there are other people that are there. That is why it is called an institution. That's what we always call agri-extension officers. You see government deploying these people to communities. That is to help local farmers to produce foods. This is one way that government was. So at the end of the day, when the farmers produce, they will, if they are coming to sell, they are selling to the general public. There will be sufficient food and the price of food will drastically reduce.
Also speaking, Christian Kalabi, the chief liaison officer representing Bon Ogai community in Tai local government area. He called on the state government to ensure that host communities benefit from the farm. But Mr. Kalabi expressed concern that promises made by the company in charge of the project were not fulfilled. Well, he also highlighted the benefits of the Songhai farm to the state and host communities.
when the farm was going on, there was a lot of farmers from the poor communities entering into the farm. There were employment of youth. There was no hunger in the society again. So when we came in by intervening, when I think officers tell you everything is already gone, trying to manage the ones they have as they are trying to resume. I want them to cooperate with the community, community and farm good community. Then youth employment and empowerment, any package they are running on the farm, our youth should be able to train on those keys. Then somebody for young children, bring health facilities, they should start to develop the communities that are hosting them.
Moving on, the Nigerian Labour Congress (NLC) has alleged that the federal government was never genuinely committed to honouring the terms of the October 2nd agreement it entered into with the organised labour. The NLC said this in a statement by its General Secretary Emmanuel Ogbaja. Well, as you may know, the chairman of the Rivers State Joint Public Negotiating Council of the Nigerian Labour Congress, Emecheta Chukwu, recently said the state government is complying with the agreements reached with organised labour over the payment of pensioners in the state. When Mr. Chukwu made this known shortly after a meeting between the Joint Public Service Negotiating Council of the NLC and the body known as Concerned River State Pensioners at the State Secretariat in Port Harcourt. The chairman, House of Representatives Committee on University Education, Abubakar Fulata, has called for salary increments for primary, secondary and university teachers. Mr. Fulata said primary school teachers should earn 250,000 naira, while secondary school teachers should earn 500,000 naira and university lecturers should be paid 1 million naira as monthly salary. Well, Fulata, who said this while speaking at a one-day national stakeholders workshop in Abuja today, also wants the translation of all subject textbooks into local languages. Away from that, a professor of political economy and development studies, Kikboye Aaron, says the purchase of new SUV cars by members of the House of Representatives in the midst of the current harsh economic situation is evidence that the political class does not mean well for Nigerians. Professor Aaron, who is also head of the Department of Political and Administrative Studies at the University of Port Harcourt, said this in reaction to the purchase of new SUV cars by federal lawmakers. Well, Professor Aaron spoke with correspondent Soibi Oruwari.
The idea of buying luxury vehicles for legislators at a time every Nigerian is going through very difficult times smacks of insensitivity on the part of the ruling elite. If there's anything Nigerians are concerned about at this time, it is the cost of governance. Cost of governance in Nigeria is so huge. It was a topic for campaign issue during the last election. It's surprising that in spite of the fact that life is getting tougher and tougher, the ruling elite is rather thinking of how to buy luxury vehicles for themselves.
Professor Aaron also wondered why the government would patronize foreign-made vehicles.
This kind of economic nationalism helps to develop the home country, and I see no reason why Nigeria that is struggling, cannot look inward and patronize homemade brands. The best thing to do is to patronize locally made vehicles, and in the process, the manufacturer will get better and better, and this will contribute to economic growth.
On his part, another political scientist with the University of Port Harcourt, Professor Omenihu Nwogu, said a part-time governance structure should be adopted as part of measures to reduce the cost of governance.
Could they have bought those cars themselves, given the present Nigerian economy? Is it not time that governance should be on part-time? If you want to be part of governance, keep your job and then come on whenever you have meetings and you maintain a flow of services. What takes the bulk of the resources of this country are the non-productive traders. How much is the Nigerian worker paid and how much is spent on contracts that are overvalued, contracts that are shoddily executed and
Also, the chairman of the Boot Party in Rivers State, Michael Nwanze, called on the government to monitor how funds meant to address insecurity are spent.
By now, I expect the government to have swing into action. There is no Nigerian that will say that is not affected by the cost of things. First, I expected them to walk into agriculture that stop our farmers of going to farm. The insecurity is a major thing that I expected the government to have swing into action. Because without them looking into this insecurity, the agriculture cannot flow. These two things cannot work except this insecurity will be tackled.
We'll recall that the House of Representatives said each of the 360 lawmakers received a brand new Prado SUV That's about 57.6 billion naira, but claimed the cars were not personal gifts but the property of the National Assembly. A lawyer, Chioma Choko, has called on the new EFCC chairman, Ola Olukayode, to rebuild the trust of Nigerians by ensuring that the commission fulfill its mandate and adheres to the rule of law. Mr. Choko, who is also human rights advocate, in an interview with correspondent Emeko Tuka, said the commission has deviated from its original purpose over the years.
He has a burden to discharge, and that burden is in rebuilding the trust of all Nigerian people, and the trust of Nigerians be also rekindled in that particular institution. So for me, the chairman has enormous task to discharge in ensuring that all the persons functioning in that particular institution becomes aware of their basic responsibilities and then discharges same without any kind of fear.
Mr. Choko also said the EFCC under Ola Olukoyede should comply with court orders to foster a robust relationship between the agency and the judiciary.
Once one person is appointed the EFCC chairman, the person begins to act as an overlord, begins to act as a god, begins to act as the front head origo. That is the highest person in the land. You have always heard or recorded a system where orders of the court are being thrown to the gutters by the headship or the leadership or the chairman of EFCC. So that has always been the conflict between the judicial arm of the government and the EFCC as an organ or institution that is a creation of the same law.
Well, as you may know, the Senate on Wednesday confirmed Ola Olukoyede as the new chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission after the suspension and subsequent resignation of Abdurrashid Bawa. Still to come, gunmen attack correctional facility in Calabar, kill one officer. Stay tuned. Happy Thanks for staying with us. And now to the rest of the news. A former commissioner for information in Rivers State, Ibim Seminitari, has charged women journalists to be intentional about breaking the gender bias in the profession. Mrs. Ibim said this during a one-day virtual training for female journalists in Nigeria, organized by Step Up for Women in Journalism initiative to improve the capacity of women journalists.
One of the places journalists go to is social media. So be visible on social media. Use it, but use it well. If people are not hearing your opinion on social media, they don't know that if they come to you, have something to say. So be honest, all right? There's nothing that damages your relationship with journalists as much as being, if you're not sure, don't post. Break it down, be accessible. Part of the problem you would have is not being accessible to people, is so that people understand what it is they're dealing with.
Also speaking, the executive director of the initiative, Anne Godwin, said the training, which was supported by the Wole Soyinka Center for Investigative Journalism under its Report Women and sponsored by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, was aimed at helping female journalists become valuable sources for significant news stories.
As women, we are to impact the nation. So have it in mind that the nation is waiting for you. So you don't just sit back. There is need for us to reawaken the fire in us. What is happening in Nigeria today demands that we speak up. That is why our hashtag is Women Speak Up. Yes, we've been talking that there is need for us to up the anthem. We are not yet there. We also need to be consistently firing. I also want to encourage you, when opportunity comes, don't reject it.
Well, the training hosted seasoned professionals who shared their stories with valuable insights to enforce career growth for female journalists. The Police Service Commission says the recruitment of repentant thugs as police constables in Kano State was because they had realized that crime does not pay. In a statement today, the spokesman of the PSC, Ikechukwani, said the special constabulary are not policemen and are not recognized as such by the Commission and the government. Gunmen have attacked the Afokang Correctional Center in Calabar, Cross River State, killing a correctional service officer. The spokesperson of the correctional center, Afanga Etim, who confirmed the attack today, said no inmate escaped during the attack. Meanwhile, a mother and her 6-year-old daughter were hit by stray bullets during the attack. In business, the House of Representatives is to investigate the adoption of concrete technology for road construction in Nigeria. In a motion, the lawmaker Khadija Ibrahim raised concerns that several studies have revealed that the use of rigid or cement concrete pavements in road construction has significant technical limitations and constraints. Well, the Minister of Works, David Umahi, had advocated the use of concrete technology in road construction.
And now, we'll bring you news from around the world.
14 French airports today received bomb threats, with at least 9 evacuated in the latest series of false alarms that have rattled the country over the past week. Well, most of France's major airports, with the exception of its 2 biggest in Paris, were temporarily cleared on Wednesday, leading to at least 130 flight cancellations. On the news this evening, you heard that the youth president of Mkpolu in Obiakpo local government area has raised alarm as flash floods threaten the health of residents there. A community leader in Eche local government area, Loveday Okere, has urged the Rivers State government to expand its agricultural revival plans to other areas. The NLC has accused the federal government of lacking the commitment to honor their agreement. Gunmen attacked a correctional facility in Calabar and killed 1 officer today. On the foreign scene, 14 French airports have been evacuated after a series of fake bomb threats. The news was edited by Onyeka Chinwosu. You can see pictures and watch videos of news stories when you like us on Facebook and follow us on X at Nigeria Info PH. On Instagram, it's at Nigeria Info FM_PH. For any eyewitness report and breaking news, text and send your WhatsApp pictures and videos to our news desk line on 0808 721 7215. My name is Constance Mega. Thank you so much for listening. Good evening.